nothing else to do. Yeah, he'll wait here when.
Garth.
Artemis lets out another sigh.
Garth.
It's like, Artemis is like, well, in that case, I suppose we should introduce ourselves. My name's Artemis. Your name is...
Derek.
Derek.
You can hear, for a brief second, Regan, like, snorts.
Derek rolls his eyes.
And, this tall, blonde fellow is Reagan.
Sup.
Hi.
As you guys are introducing yourselves awkwardly, and everybody's laughing at the hilarity of Derek's name,
Yes.
you do kind of notice a very large wolf walk by, and almost immediately behind the wolf is a decently sized Suedo dragon and a very short elf.
I recognize the elf from earlier, right?
Yes, you and Regan would recognize the little elf from earlier.
Regan's gonna, like, gently curse under his breath and, like, turn around and, like, nope, not doing this!
As she's kind of making her way towards the alley, and as the wolf, kind of, like, appears in the, like, open way of the, like, I want to keep saying doorway, it's not the doorway, the entrance of the alley, you hear another scream from the dwarf.
God damn it.
Artemis is just like, let's just all avoid the alley for, like, 5 minutes. Is it that difficult to do?
Derek kind of calls over saying, you might not want to go.
And then you cut out.
You might not want to go in for a little bit.
Why?
Well, there's a dead body and a freaked out dwarf in there.
Oh.
Big hammer.
I'll take your word for it, considering there's a giant dragon fort, and none of y'all want to go in that either. With that on your side. And y'all like,
You guys haven't tried yet, but as far as you can tell, as long as you are in the line of sight of the entrance of the alleyway, she's going to notice you're there.
Question.
You guys haven't. You could technically like cut all the way across to like the other side of the building and try to cross over there, but you haven't really tried yet because Artemis really wants to see this body.
I had a question, actually.
What's up?
Is it possible that someone with good enough ability to climb things could go onto the roof and peer down from there?
Yes, but you run the risk of a hammer to the face if she can throw it.
I'm gonna do it! So, I look at everyone else, I nod to the elf. I'm like, pleasure to meet you. Name's Artemis. I'm about to do something very foolish. Have fun, the three of you talking. I'm gonna try climbing up, though. Climbing and doing what I just told you.
Oh no.
Okay, so
Well,
it's where you are in the city is kind of a little messier stonework. So it takes you a minute, you slip a couple times, kind of skin your knee, but you do manage to find enough grips and footholds to climb up the side of the building. And kind of move over to where you know she is with the body and kind of peer over. And as soon as you peer over, you realize that she is ripping bits of flesh with her hands and like shoving it in her face. She's eating him.
Does it look like there's anything else on the body that, like, is shiny or magical or expensive?
From this angle, you can see kind of like a discarded weapon and stuff like that. Just from what you saw of her earlier and just kind of the way she's acting, you're pretty sure that like the this guard's coin purse is still on him. Like he's probably got like nice shoes. He's probably got some money. Just little bits of things. So, yeah, from what you can't really see anything because she is pretty much just like engulfing this person with her body. But you can't see anything on him.
Okay, I climb back down and I go back to the rest of the group.
Okay. You climb back down, and as you climb back down, you kind of hear like a grunt, and you realize that she probably would have seen you had you stayed like a second longer. And now, like, that you guys have been standing there for a minute, you can hear the sounds of, like, someone very excitedly eating in the alley.
Ugh.
Yeah, as I return, I'm like, well, good news. Well, there is no good news. She's eating him.
That's gross.
Cool.
So I guess there's not much to stick around for then.
Well, eventually she'll be done. And he has a coin purse, I assume, and boots, and other things I can sell. I'm not really doing much else.
I don't know, it takes a while to eat a human body.
Thank you
How
for your
would
wonderful
you know
knowledge.
that?
I barely know you. Okay?
You can't open my
I
book
will
in the
give you my
middle.
whole life story. You can't just open the book of my life in the middle.
So you guys hang out for a little bit longer. You can't get past the alley. You could go back the way you came, but there's more stuff to the other side. So as you guys are waiting, you do notice as a couple of tieflings kind of mill about the area.
Are
And,
these my tieflings, or like,
No, these are not your tieflings.
are they Sariel tieflings?
No, they're tieflings. One of them is fairly tall, still shorter than Derek, but not like the horns kind of make up for it. And it's very hard to tell, like, if this is a male or female demon, and so you just kind of hope for the best. They look up at you, and their eyes, Derek, you would recognize, their eyes have the same faraway look to them, like almost like the night sky that the whatever the fuck they were looking at does.
Goddamn cultist.
And as this tiefling kind of looks up, you see a bit of shock cross their face, and just kind of that, like, it's like shock and then fear almost. And they kind of throw up their hand, and you see like a spark of energy, and then it's just a bunch of lights, and they move towards you.
Oh boy. I'm gonna, like, discreetly slip out a dagger.
I'm gonna kind of, I'm like, clap my hands together. I'm like, so do we stay and fight, or should we leave?
I don't know you guys, so Farmer's gonna try to just back away.
That's fair. Reagan, I think we should be going.
I agree.
As the lights kind of hit you, you realize that they're harmless. It's just lights. They had attempted to spook you or scare you into running, and nothing happened. They hadn't expected you to stay, so now they look very terrified. Artemis, you speak Eldritch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They kind of look amongst the group, and You can't really tell because their eyes look like they're deep, like they're into another world. Like it's very hard to like catch like where they're looking. But their head kind of turns as they look over everybody, so you can kind of tell they're like sizing up the group. Um, and they kind of settle on Artemis, and they take a step closer, and none of y'all would hear or understand this unless you somehow speak Eldritch or Abyssal. But they kind of call out, "Oh, what are you doing here?"
My Eldritch is a little bit rusty, so my accent is probably horrible. But I say, we're just waiting for someone to leave this alley. We'll be out of your hair as soon as possible. We mean no harm. As far as I can tell, big guy here, not super dangerous. And I kind of pat Derek on the shoulder. Not the shoulder. I can't reach his. I can reach his shoulder. It's just difficult. His like forearm.
They're talking, and it sounds like a bunch of like clicks, like deep in their throat, and then Artemis just reaches out and touches you, Derek.
Derek just kind of looks at Artemis with this confused look, like, "What are you doing?"
As this happens, the other tiefling that is not with the one that's talking, that was not the one that was talking to you, kind of slips around the group and walks a little uncomfortably close to Ephemera to get into the entranceway of the alley. You hear the scream, and then you hear nothing. As the tiefling, and this one you would recognize, she's very like curvy and obviously female. She kind of throws up her hand, and it's the same kind of sparks, and then you hear nothing in the alley, and the dwarf comes running out anyway. Looks like they're screaming, but nothing is coming out. And they have their hammer, and they swing at the tiefling, and the tiefling just kind of dodges out of the way. And
I'm backing up.
the dwarf kind of whips around, and now you guys are just kind of watching as this tiefling starts laughing, and just kind of keeps dancing just out of range of this dwarf, which is very obviously pissing the dwarf off. And she keeps trying to scream, and like her face starts getting like really red, but no sound is leaving her at all. The other tiefling kind of like snaps to like draw your attention back to them, and they're like, don't worry about that. She'll handle it. And he's speaking in common now, so you can all understand him. And they kind of they step a little closer, and they kind of look up at Derek, and they're like, kind of size him up for a second, and then look back at Artemis and say in Eldritch, you keep strange company.
Well, beggars can't be choosers, and all that. And besides, I'm not really one of you either, am I?
Hashtag rude.
The tiefling kind of nods. The tiefling would know. The tiefling kind of nods and looks back at the group, and then again in common is like, we can offer serious compensation if you can help us.
Is this in common?
Yes.
What do you
Okay.
need?
Someone of a fairly high standing dead, and we could appreciate the help.
Do you want us to kill them or get the money back? It gotta be more specific than that.
Dead.
I'm
We
for
want
killing
them
someone.
Dead.
Yeah, I mean, I've done worse.
The tiefling kind of grins, and now you can see that the dwarf seems to have tired herself out, and you see blood just kind of like trickling through her beard, and it's very unsettling. But the dwarf is now kind of sagging as the other tiefling just laughs at her. She seems to be very excited about being able to play with something, basically, is the way she's